What's up, Rangers? Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve. Today I got a leg. What I'm doing here is I'm painting a custom figure for... I'm just going to set my brush down for a second, and of course it has to go rolling. This is for WD Toys. It's a dinosaur channel. They contacted me, asked me if I would be willing to do a Indominus Rex for them. They gave me free reign to paint it however I felt like. So, because we are a giant monster channel, as you can see, I got a G-Fest shirt on currently. I wanted to do like a giant monster scheme for this. So I decided, they mentioned in the email to make it scary as possible. And I was thinking, what's scarier monster than Destoroyah? So, we're going to paint it like Destoroyah. So as you can see, I've already airbrushed every part of this guy. The other bits are hanging out over on my table over there drying. But did it in a very, very dark red. Like it's almost like a dark gray, but it has like a little tinge of red to it. This is my undercoat. And all I'm doing for the entirety of the figure is I'm just dry brushing a dark red over top. Which, because you have a dark base, it's actually going to darken this red up when I go to put it on here. Which is going to work great because I don't really want my the base reds to be super bright on this guy, because looking at Destoroyah and like the X Plus upstairs and what have you, he's not like very bright red except in his like accenting spots. So for this guy, a lot of his brighter reds are going to be like where he's got like the crest and the spikes protruding and the little frill, like the quills on his arms. But for the most of it, the rest of it's just going to be mainly a dark red. Like, he's not going to be a very elaborate, like stripes and crazy color scheme. He's just going to be scary looking. So with the reds here, I just got a brush here. I'm just dry brushing on top, so get some red paint on my brush. Gonna wipe the majority of it off and then just go over top of it lightly at an angle so you guys can see. And I'm just gonna do this for the entirety of the leg. I can brighten it up here and there because as you see, I don't get too much coverage at the moment with one go. But I'm just trying to be careful, because I don't want to get too much red on it. So I'm just lightly going over it, just so that the red just covers all the high points on the scales. Because I want the dark red base coat to definitely peek through in between the scaling here, to give it a little bit more color variety. But I'm just going to, again, go through, do this for the entire figure, and then we'll be doing all of our detailing after that. Alright, so I screwed up. We did all the dry brushing, and then I got a little carried away with myself and used another color here for a brighter red. Started doing this and pretty much did it for the entire figure. Which what I did was I just kind of hit the high points with a little bit of a brighter red, kind of like with Destoroyah, and a lot of like accenting color spots. So like the bottom of the feet here, I did these. I can show you guys real quick. We'll grab the Mr. Indominus 2. Just show you on that. Or Mrs. Indominus. But you can see here for the head. And kind of hit all the high spots with the red. Did the same thing for the tails. Also did the quills on the undersection. Which all I did there. This was my ripe tomato. Hit the reds on here. Same technique, just dry brushing on top of it. This is to kind of show you without the paint. But just got the paint on it. Rubbed majority of it back off onto here. And just kind of went over each of these sections lightly. And just did it till it brightened up to where I want it to. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just kind of like what I did for the dry brushing for the body here. But just more focused. But next, what I need to do is start working on all the finer detailing. So the reds are good. So next is getting his eyes painted, doing his teeth, Gonna have to redo the inside of the mouth here, and then getting all his like claws and nails all done. And then I think that's pretty much about it, because for the most part, for Destoroyah color scheme, he's not going to be super over the top. But I had a couple extra little things, but I haven't quite figured it out yet. But primarily, this is going to be his main coloring, and then adding some of the stuff. But I can show you guys what I'm doing with like the nails and what have you. Alright, so essentially for the nails here, I'm going to kind of be going off what I've seen on my X Plus, which is, for the most part, I kind of like the nails. The nail color would be alright, but I got a little bit of reds here and there. So what I'm going to do is hit this with my black. We're going to paint this black, and then my dog's running around in the background. Going to be dry brushing this satin ivory over top of it, which will give it a little bit of a shine to it, and then also kind of make it look more nail-like, and then just kind of filling in. Try not to fill in some of the black spots here and there. So I grabbed the jet black. I think this might be too black. We'll find out. Yeah, I guess we can knock it down a little bit of some gray, and then just gonna. Actually, I don't like that. I thought I was gonna like it more than I did. I don't. So I'm gonna go back to using the black. Just gonna get my nail painted, and then I'll come back to show you guys the dry brushing for the ivory. But just so you guys can see. Just taking my time, make sure I'm not getting any of the black on the actual skin here, and just going over it lightly. But, like I said, AC's kicking on, so a good time to cut this part, and I'll be back to show you guys how I'm going to highlight it. Alright guys, nails painted. I do kind of want to re-go over this section here, so I'll show you guys how I dry brush that, but I got a little bit of this red here, the Rape Tomato, and I'm just going to get a little bit on my brush and just wipe the majority of it off. Just so it's got a decent amount of coverage, but nothing too crazy. And then you just slightly go over the top. Main reason I'm going back over and doing this is because I kind of want to make these brush strokes a little bit smoother. So if you don't like the way the paint kind of laid on originally, you can kind of fix it by just smoothing it out a bit with some more paint. Like, don't go crazy and do a bunch of coverage, but enough that it just kind of like smooths out what you put out there. As you can see, it's looking a little cleaner now. And then when I go to clear coat it, that'll help a little bit too. And then that really did help my calls. Stop going out of paint! Plus, what kind of helps a lot too is if you're doing this so you don't like the way the brush strokes kind of look, if you go in the opposite direction when it's wet down, as long as you don't have a lot of paint on here, it's not going to really transfer too much. And then it also kind of counteracts the strokes you did originally. So the way it laid down, I'm not quite happy with it. So now I'm just going to go in the opposite direction lightly, and that knocks down the lines quite a bit. Alright, that's looking pretty spiffy. So next, I'm going to wet my brush. Dry it off as best as I can. Doesn't have to be super dry, but just pretty solid anyways. So, not getting any paint on me. Smooths out pretty good. And then I'm going to take some of this ivory. This is what I'm going to be putting over top of the nails, but I'm going to be doing the same thing, kind of just dry brushing this on. So get a bunch of it off my brush, just enough to get some good coverage, and then just going to be kind of just going at this at an angle, because you can see here where there's like the little divots in the detailing. I want to keep that with the black, and then I don't also want to leave a little bit around the nail, so it's not even looking. That's what I'm hopefully gonna be going for here. kind of like that. But I don't want to get too close to the base of the nail. Because again, I'm kind of trying to replicate the way the X Plus looked a bit. Now, some of this I'm going to kind of go over and make sure it's fully covered, like towards the end of the nail. It's going to get better coverage. Same with some of these gaps because they don't make quite as much sense. Also got to figure out why there's a brush hanging on that paint there. And then I'm just going to do the same for the rest of these. And then also the claws and the hands will be done the exact same fashion. So, come back once I got all this set up. Alright, so teeth are all set up on this guy. Gal, something. Got the claws are done. We're going to have to touch up the claws. I'm just going to do kind of the same base color I did. I'm just going to go over and kind of touch up the beginnings of the nails a little bit. But other than that, they're pretty much set. For the teeth, I actually got a little bit of a really bright yellow here that I'm going to just dry brush over top. Just to give them a little extra color in certain spots. Just kind of like make it look a little more tartar-y in some spots. Let's give it a little added color. And kind of hit some of the highs a bit on it. Hopefully you guys can kind of see. But same thing for the other side. Just a little bit of white on the brush. Getting off quite a bit of it. And then just knocking some of the higher areas on this. Alright, so I got some yellow on the teeth for some tartaring. Inside of the mouth is probably the next thing I got to do. Which, I kind of like the original color, but when I airbrushed, it kind of, as you can see, darkened it up a bit. So we're just going to have to go over it just to kind of knock the coloring back up a bit. So it opens up as a nice roar. And then a lot of it's going to be touched up, and then we'll move to the eyes. So real quick, I'm going to pause the video just to make sure the teeth look alright. And then touch up the nails, and then we'll move on to the fun parts. And I'm just kind of touching up the nails. I got a little, it's an old paintbrush, it's a little bent. But it works pretty good for getting these little nooks and crannies because I can kind of bend into them. But I'm just adding some detailing around the base of the nails just to kind of, again, match that X Plus a little bit better because it's got a little bit more like crazy kind of base designs towards the base of the nail. So I'm just kind of going around with this and just making little jagged lines and just kind of cleaning up around the base of the claw here. And a lot of this too is just to kind of clean up around the nails because with this ivory paint I got quite a bit of it on, a little bit on the hands here and there, so this helps to clean up around that section, plus adds a little bit more detailing to the nails here. Outside of that, it's pretty much for the nails. For the teeth, I got to clean up around here too. Not sure if I'm doing the jagged thing yet. I got to look it up a little bit more. I think for this, I might just clean it up with the reds and then do the inside of the mouth for the most part because I kind of like the way the teeth look currently. Don't want to add too much to it because there's not really like tartar for the nails, and then with them being more skin tone, there's not really much I can really dry brush that's going to kind of take away from the color, but adding a little bit extra to the base kind of helps a lot. And it's sort of the same thing I did with the big nails, but there's not a lot of in-depth detailing, so I'd have to add everything to this, and it's kind of why I'm doing it at the base of the nails. And then it's just less paint that scuff around later. Alright, so for the inside of the mouth, I got a fairly large paintbrush here. I'm just going to go over the entirety of it in a red, and then I'm going to dry brush a pinkish red over top of it. But just to kind of show you guys sort of what I'm doing. Actually, I don't want that brush. I kind of want this brush for coverage. Hold on a second. Alright, so I'm just going to take my red, get some on my brush here, and then just going to go to town on the inside of this mouth until I get the right coloring. And I'll come back to show you guys the final results, and then we'll dry brush. Alright, so inside of the mouth is done. I just did a little bit of pink dry brushing. Forgot to film that part. The teeth, I've decided to do the same thing I did for the claws because there's quite a few of the teeth I got to kind of clean up. So I just got to mix up some dark red and black and just kind of go around the teeth. And then I'll lightly dry brush the red back on when I'm done. And then for the most part, after this, it's mainly just the eyes. And so you guys kind of see what I'm doing here. But let's clean up the bottom of the teeth. Let's make it a little darker looking towards the base. And then we got the eyes we got to do. And chest. And then that's pretty much about it. Alright, so next we're going to do the chest piece here. Which I have some, they call it golden sunset, but it's more of like a orangish yellow. That I'm going to be dry brushing onto the chest here. Now I think we're going to like kind of come down at a little bit of an angle here. Pretty much stop at the gimmick here. And for the most part just kind of be focused around the chest, but I don't really want it on the arms. So just gonna start doing some dry brushing. Then just keep on adding the colors so I kind of get the right amount of coverage that I want. Like I mentioned, just going to kind of bring it down around an angle here. Then I'll cut back once I got the rest of the figure all set up. Alright, decided to actually go with a little bit more of a yellow color. It was just coming off really too dark and almost like a green. So, just knocking it out with this brighter yellow. Just kind of adding my layers till I get the color, the overall color that I'm looking for. But I'm pretty much just going to sit here and keep dry brushing onto it till I get the overall right shade that I want. Because I want it to be fairly bright and then kind of a little lighter around the edges. Just so it has a bit more of like a nicer fade to it. I'll dry it with the hair dryer in order to harden the paint up a bit and then dry it out and then go back over it again and again until I kind of again get the shade that I'm looking for. Now I know this isn't quite like a normal dinosaur chest pattern, but again I'm kind of trying to make this reminiscent of Destoroyah. Destoroyah only really has like the one little piece on the front of its chest. So that's why I'm kind of keeping it more consolidated instead of like going on the arms and through most of the rest of the underbody, which I just want to kind of keep this darker red color. Again, to kind of harken back to that figure. Or kaiju, I should say. Not sure why I keep saying figure. I keep saying same figure because I'm thinking about the X Plus, which I was using a lot for reference photos and stuff. Because probably one of the better, more accurate looking ones in terms of the paint. Next, do the eyes. Alright, so for the eyes, just kind of like what I did. Usually what I use is the gloss paint for the eyes. And then I go over with like a gloss sealer just in that special area. This one I'm going to go with the acrylic and then gloss it up. Which should give me the overall same effect. But I'm going to use the same yellow that I used for the chest. I'm going to use for the eyes here. Which is going to make sure it's got really nice coverage inside the eye. And then I'm going to be going over it with... It's really hard to paint this guy with, and on camera and trying to show you guys a little bit. But so you guys can see. But I'm going to fill the entirety of the eye here with this yellow. And then I'll go back through and gotta add all the extra detailing to the rest of it. But you guys can kind of see more or less what I'm doing. It's just kind of trying to keep it inside the confines of the eyeball. And then we'll do the fun part. And don't be afraid if you got a little bit of extra on the eyes coming off. You can always come back through and clean it up later. But a lot of times use it as acrylic paint. You just kind of want to get decent coverage. Like, it doesn't have to be super clean your first time. Because a lot of this I'm probably going to go back through and touch back up once everything's all said and done. Alright, so his eyes are yellow. So now I just got to use the hairdryer, dry them off, add another layer, just to make sure you can't see any of the base coat underneath, and then add all the little lines. Alright, this might be a little hard to show, but I got a little bit of red and orange mixed together. Got a paintbrush, tiny little end, and I'm just gonna kind of make all these little squiggles inside the eye here. Hopefully you guys can see it pretty well. It's hard for me to see if it's on the camera pretty good. I'm just gonna lightly all these little details. You guys can see the first eye. Gotta do the same thing with the second eye. And then it's just clean it up after that. And then pretty much done. And that concludes this video. If you guys want to see the finished product, make sure to go check out WD Toys. Card will be up here for their YouTube channel. They do a lot of unboxings for dinosaur, giant monster stuff. They do skip videos. Really awesome channel. Make sure to go check them out. And it was really great to be able to do this like kind of like cross-promotion video for this. And super fun to do the custom. If you guys want to see, like, here's the figure put together. Because when I got done painting it, I just shipped it out. I didn't put it together, didn't assemble it, nothing. It was just kind of a reason why I also painted it the way it was, because it makes it a whole heck of a lot easier than trying to line up striping for legs. Because the figure's a nightmare to put together. Or disassemble, I should say. So again, make sure to go check out his review for the commission over up on his channel. And then also, if you guys are coming from his channel, thanks for checking us out. We do a lot of giant monster stuff, primarily focus on action figures, toy news. We also do the unboxings. We do quite a bit of random stuff over here. And then also the customs, which is one I'm almost actually done with. This is the next video after this one will be a how I did the Burning Godzilla here from the 89. I just gotta finish his eyes. He's gotta get clear coated and maybe a couple of touch-up spots, especially around the nail region. Or did I already do that? It looks like I already did that. No, I didn't. Okay, gotta do that still. Also, if you guys want to get a hold of me to get a commission done yourself, currently I'm actually kind of getting a little busy with these. Before it was like, I seem to have like, usually by the time I get one done, another one usually shows up. Now I'm a little bit ahead, like, I got a little bit of backlog. But if you guys like to get a hold of me, easiest way is through our Instagram, my Instagram, or through our Facebook. Easiest ways to get a hold of me. Which link will be in the description for those. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So help us defeat those kaijus by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a ranger new. I also got Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, Facebook. Guys like to keep up to date with the channel and donate. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Why are you looking at my elbow? You want to say bye-bye? You say bye-bye to the rangers? No, not kisses. Gotta say bye-bye. Gotta say bye. Okay, fine. Sorry, bye.